Hello, welcome, welcoming in peace and love into this space as I share a message from my Wild and Sacred Feminine deck. As I began to read it, the fire in my heart began to burn, and maybe it's not meant to be shared. I don't think that most things are. I think that we strip away the sacredness of life the more we share. It takes away the mystery, which is oftentimes important to have in life. Not everyone is privileged to know who we are, to see us. And part of this comes from a wounded space, but also not, because I think sometimes we lose sight of what's just for us. And this comes full circle from something 4 years ago. The beauty of life is of abundance in so many extraordinary ways. And I think sometimes we forget. And, we get to choose what is kept sacred and secret and what we choose to share. And I think encouraging the magic in the world and us remembering how to consecrate a relationship with it respectfully, so as we are it experiencing itself in a tremendous amount of ways. I think sometimes it's easy to forget that, but honoring that sometimes the world doesn't need to see all of us, but also not being ashamed of who we are and finding and keeping that balance is important. So I think coming into my own realizations or realizations, I'm just going to read this card now. Mother is the card that I pulled a few days ago to read, and felt a call to read it. Mother represents nurturing, and we all need nurturing. And sometimes we don't get that from the spaces and places that we have been held in life. And so it's important for us to find that, to reacquaint ourselves with that, to give ourselves the freedom to find the nurture within ourselves instead of creating the expectation that it needs to come from the outside. Because sometimes the greatest love story that we come across is the one with ourselves as the center of being the giver and the receiver. Understanding and knowing that life hasn't endless amount of abundance to give us in all forms, in all ways, when we stay open and receptive to that. And it can be very beautiful. This card is very beautiful, and there's a tremendous amount of abundance in all ways. It shows flowing water, fruit, textures, motion, different shapes, the earth, which is the representation of mothering energy, Mother Earth. We forget that she is our great mother. The shadow aspect of the mother is the martyr. And if we're not careful, that's a very thin line to cross. It is in our conscious awareness that we understand where we lie on that line. Are we on a side? Or how far teetered over from one end to the other do we find ourselves in any given moment? The power is too vast to be imagined. Surrender yourself to me with joyful, one-pointed devotion, and I will help you discover your true being. Abide in me as I abide in you. A quote by Tripura Rahasya Tantra. Very beautiful quote. The mother. Mother is the umbilical, the umbilicus that connects you to the womb of existence. With her signature, numinosity, she bears the message that you are a creatrix. You channel life and growth through your very being. Several thousand years ago, as Western civilization began to favor conquest over coherence, the Mother Goddess, the unifying dimensions of nature and soul, went underground. Women lost sight of this divine source and forgot that as daughters of the Great Mother, a sacred feminine energy vibrates through their veins, breasts, and bellies. This card says that it is time for you to resurrect the goddess and celebrate the mother. Source and sustainer of life, of all forms, in all ways. Literally. In how you cherish your body and become a conduit for creativity. One of my favorite things in the world, to be honest. And the one thing that keeps me connected and never alone. Whether or not you have chosen the path of motherhood, you are called to awaken the power of the Divine Mother. This abundant life force is not something that you have to pursue. It is ever present and ready to flow through you when you simply soften. In softening like nursing breasts, you open to the deliciousness of giving and receiving, the subtle vitality of the Great Mother. The verbs nurse and nurture share the same Latin root, nutrire, meaning to feed and foster. Whether by offering a breast, a bowl of soup, or even a writing group, you align yourself with a generative essence of the Mother Goddess. The abundance is just flowing in as I'm reading this to you. And I'm gonna just hold on to it. I'm gonna hold on to it. Sorry, I'm reaching for something. My videos are always weird because I always get really close to the camera. I apologize. You align yourself with the generative essence of the Mother Goddess. Mother guides you to hold space for creation. As vessel, as creator, as nurturer. In this holy rite is the art of sacrifice, which derives from the Latin sacer, meaning sacred. To sacrifice your time and energy for a vision or a new life is to make your offering sacred. But beware of giving too much of yourself, your joy, and your well-being away as a martyr. I just came out of a hard martyr phase in the last 3 years. One who wears the badge of undue suffering with pride, choose to be bountiful rather than miserable. No matter how you were mothered, care for yourself with unfailing devotion. Unfailing devotion. Unfailing devotion. This has been really itchy today. What does that mean? Right here. No matter how you were mothered, care for yourself with unfailing devotion. Find your way back into the ample embrace of the Great Mother. From her lap, channel the inexhaustible flow of plenty. I cannot even express, but I can, and I will. Probably just not here. Not in this moment anyways. The sometimes ways that we don't see the abundance that we're surrounded by because we focus too much on the wrong things in life. We don't allow ourselves to be open to witness the massive amounts of abundance that surround us in so many moments that we have the ability to tap into within ourselves, which is where it starts. Understanding that we are never without anything that we don't need. And sometimes we have these lavish, loud, lofty desires, which is not, it's not a terrible thing to have, but also sometimes we have to take into consideration the profoundness and simplicity of life and just tapping into the truth of what we are surrounded by and living in the existence of in any given moment at all. There are many different forms of wealth. And in the last few years, I've been able to see feel and experience a tremendous amount. Sorry, I was clearing some energy. A tremendous amount of abundance in places that I normally wouldn't. And sometimes we have to clear out old stories and programming and conditioning and ways of thinking in order to be able to receive those things. Which is also an extraordinarily beautiful process. We are the abundance and part of the fruit of this life and world. And sometimes we are chasing and desiring so many things, and it's important for us to make sure that we're anchored into ourselves and our wellness and spirit in all ways, as within and so without, because it is everything and everywhere all the time. You just have to be able to see it. So thank you for listening. I send peace and love and hopes for nurturing to find the places within you and without you, outside of you, that might need some extra attention. And I hope that you find awareness in the thin line between martyr and mothering, nurturing and overgiving, and the clear vision of abundance that surrounds every moment of existence. Be well. Peace and love.